Titans, much to my shock, I was shocked by this, crushed Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. 27, that's not the shocking part, to 3 is the shocking part with that Titans defense. The Chiefs quarterback was held without 250-plus passing yards or a passing touchdown and threw an interception in his 6th straight game. Mahomes was knocked out of the game in the fourth quarter, cleared concussion protocols, expected to play next week. Here is Patrick Mahomes on the Chiefs. They're now under 500, continued struggles.
We have enough leaders on this team. We have to find a way. I mean, I don't know what that's going to take yet. We'll go in, we'll talk about it, we'll figure it out, we'll watch the film. But I trust that we'll find it. I mean, that's what's part of leadership. That's what part of great teams are, is being able to battle through adversity. And it's been kind of rainbows and flowers and awesome for these last few years. But whenever you want to build something substantial and you want to build something great, you're going to go through parts like this.
What is wrong with the Chiefs? And how good are the Titans? What's wrong with the Chiefs? Let's start right there.
They should trade Patrick Mahomes. He's the problem. They would win a lot more games if they didn't have Patrick Mahomes.
Draft a quarterback.
Yeah, draft a quarterback. Go
Start
right ahead. I dare you.
Look,
Sometimes these things happen, right? You get into a funk and you can't figure out how to get out of it. You squeak into the playoffs and you backdoor in there. The division is still winnable. They just continue to put themselves behind the 8 ball as they keep piling up losses. At some point, they've got to turn it around and get a little more consistent. Part of the problem is Kelsey and Tyreek Hill are the only 2 offensive weapons that they really have. Mecole Hardman and those guys have not come to the party like the Kansas City Chiefs thought they were. And they've got to get better at doing it. This is the reason they went out there and signed Flash Gordon, because they felt like, okay, our receiving core, we need some more. We need a little more juice other than the 2 guys that we have. And that's part of the offensive problems. Plus, he's seeing things different than he saw a year or 2 ago at the quarterback spot. It's just different.
What do you mean he's seeing things different?
Patrick Mahomes is seeing things different. Like he's pressing when he's out there trying to throw the football. He's seeing things that he got away with a year or 2 ago. He's not getting away with that same thing. He may see it and be like, oh, I could do this. I did this before. Then all of a sudden the defense is on top of it. I'm worried about him, but I guess I would say I'm not overly worried because I got 2 teams in the division that I really – history shows that they've started a certain way and ended a certain way.
Broncos
meaning
and Chargers?
The Raiders and the Chargers. Mm-hmm. Even though I think both of those teams are great, you still are waiting for them to come back to earth, you know?
I'm worried about the Chiefs, man.
No, I'm worried, but I'm
worried.
not like – I got to –
But Key, also, the fact you talk about their offensive options. They have 0 running game. 0 running game.
They never had a running game.
Well, I understand that, but like they can't get anything on the ground. It doesn't even keep the defense on their heels at all.
But what's that really about usually? Look, if you look at the
Clyde Edwards-Helaire sideline.
But also the offensive line, they had to rebuild in the offseason. They did a great job, but they brought in pieces that now have to figure this out together. And because of that, they didn't spend any resources on the defensive side of the ball.
They had a flash with Kareem Hunt 4 years ago. That was a flash.
Williams is pretty good.
And for the most part, Williams got hot late in the game. Mm-hmm. Late in the season. But they've never had a Tennessee-type running game. Mm-hmm. They never had a Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt running game.
Mm-hmm.
They never had a Brian Westbrook, Philadelphia
Maybe they
Eagle,
need one as Jay's point.
Buckholter running game. And there's James still sitting there in the control room looking like he is about to lose his mind.
Bring James in this. James,
one of our
James.
producers on our show, as you can see him sitting there in agony.
I'm sad.
What's
the
wrong?
Chiefs make me sad now. I don't like it.
What's wrong with your team, James?
I don't know. There's a lot of things. Defense is bad. Can't run the ball. The offensive line doesn't look good. They keep turning the ball over. There's a lot of things to fix.
You just named the 4 things exactly right. By the way, you just rattled them off.
There's a lot of things to fix, and I don't know if they're going to be able to fix them this year.
Yeah, they may be okay, though. Like I said, we're waiting to see what the Chargers are really about in the Raiders. So I think those 2 teams have shown us in the past they've gotten off the good starts and kind of came back to the party. Could be different this year.
There's something that Jay brought up, though, Key, that I'm curious to hear your opinion on. The Chiefs have not had, and then you picked it up, said they never really had that between the tackles, run it up the gut kind of complementary kind of running game that can keep you honest. Do they need that?
You always need a portable game. This is why I'm impressed with the Arizona Cardinals, is because they figured out, okay, I can't just throw the ball all over the lot in the National Football League. Whatever Cliff Kingsbury did on self-check offseason has gotten this team offense more explosive and better because they run the ball more. I think with Kansas City, it's kind of the same thing. They've got to figure out how to establish some sort of semblance of a running game to some degree. They just everybody in the league got a running game that's good. Everybody. I mean, I don't care if it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers; they can run the ball when they want to. The Green Bay Packers when they want to. The New Orleans Saints when they want to.
One-dimensional. Darrell Williams has 5 carries for. Look, the problem is also too. Like, I thought this Titans defense was bad. This Titans defense made life miserable for him. The Titans defense has gotten better. This team has gotten better overall.
And then sometimes matchups can dictate certain things too. When you look at Tennessee's opportunity to, when they played them in the playoffs a couple years ago, the defense played a certain way, and then all of a sudden, Kansas City turned it on.
Yeah, I think that offensive line has not figured out what they're doing yet in Kansas City, it seems to me. And in terms of the run game, Mahomes has to, has made up for it.
Yep.
But if he starts to take chances, sometimes that's not going to go his way, right? And then their defense can't get any pressure because they had to fix the line.
What if it's just not their year, though? Is the world going to explode because the Kansas City Chiefs don't make it to the playoffs?
James's world will explode.
I mean, I understand that a lot of people wanted them to be the greatest team ever in the history of football because they've gone to 3 straight AFC championship games and 2 straight Super Bowls. But sometimes people do catch up to you.
You know what? You know what those stats we just put on the screen say to me? Everything's the same with Mahomes except the turnovers are way up. Look at that.
Yeah.
Completion percentage is up. Yards are up. This is last 2 seasons. But the big difference there, and the reason the QBR is much, much lower, is his touchdown to interception ratio goes from 16-1 to 2-1.
In the
right?
first
He's
7
taking
games
more
of
chances.
the season.
He's taking more chances.
Yeah, well, that's because he's probably pressing some, but a couple of those interceptions you have to credit to. You cut that in half. So he got 9. I'm really going to give him 4 or 5, depending on what you want. 4.5 interceptions on him. There you go.
That's legit because last year those things weren't happening, right? And so
Tyreek Hill wasn't dropping balls into the other person's hands, or the back wasn't tipping the ball and running the wrong route, and then he throws it and it becomes a pick. That's what happened.
And essentially, too, like, look at Ryan Tannehill's stat line from yesterday, 21-27 for 270 yards. He has so much time to drop back and throw the ball in the pocket where, this pass rush for Kansas City, they have the least amount of sacks in the league.
now combine
that, yes, with their O-line issues, and then them not having options, no running game. And it's a formula for failure.
It was like the Super Bowl in the sense that they don't have to bring extra guys to get pressure on Mahomes, right? That's what they tried to fix in the offseason because they had lost both their tackles to injury. A couple of good tackles. They brought in some good tackles. They brought in some good offensive linemen. But again, so before we get out of here, Key, for the top of the hour, how much of that is true about the offensive line in your experience, where guys brought in 1 year need time to gel? Is that legitimate to hope for James and Chiefs fans to hope that will happen as the year goes on?
Well, of course, you have to gel. You got 5 new bodies, even 5 new personalities and bodies that are on the offensive line. Even if you had 1 or 2 holdovers, the other 3 guys are still trying to figure out to get communication. When I know a guy is pulling and he's scraping to get up on the second level, and I've been with him for 5 years, I know his next move. But when I've been with a guy for 7 games, I don't know his next move. I'm thinking, okay, he's going to block the end. Now I can kick out and get the corner. I know that's going to happen. But if I'm thinking he's kicking out to get the corner and we both are thinking the same thing and we go get the tackle, we're screwed.
Right. So there's reason to hope maybe the line